Welcome class 5 in your science class. As we have completed the last chapter, that was rocks and mineral. Now we will start the soil erosion and conservation. So at first we should know what is this soil erosion and what is conservation. So what is soil erosion? Soil erosion means taking away or getting away the uppermost layer of the soil driven out from the soil profile. As we know, we will see the soil profile. There is the uppermost layer, there is a fertile layer, or you can say the upper layer is the humus layer. It is the humus layer. This one is the top layer. Then sand and pebble you will get. This is the second layer, or you can say the sandy layer, or the pebbles are there. Then the small, these aquifers layer, or you can say the stone layers or the bedrock. And the last one is impervious layer. So from here the water cannot go inside. So this is the impervious layer and this one is the pervious layer. Pervious or porous layer. So what is it? We know the uppermost part of the soil mixes with the organic material, that may be the dead remains of the animal, that may be the remains of the plants, maybe twigs, maybe leaves, maybe the dead parts of the fruits. So these all are being mixes with the first layer, and this first layer of the soil is very fertile, and this is called the humus. The very first is the humus and the top layer of the soil. So this is the top layer of the soil, and this top layer is very fertile in nature, and they are very important for the growth of the plant. So due to the water logging, due to the wind force, due to some other kind of forces, maybe they are been vacant, there is no plants are there. If there is no plant, then the soil become vacant and there is just nothing. So with the force of the air, it may be dispersed from their own place to another place. So drawing off or taking away the layer or the first layer or the top layer of the soil from its place is called soil erosion. Why it is erosion? Because lack of this layer, the soil will become less fertile and less nutritive. That's why the first layer of the soil or the top layer of the soil is very much needed for the plant growth and for the habitat of different kind of small animals, like the rabbit lives inside the soil, some kinds of earthworm and some kinds of snakes, they also live within this soil air, and within this soil layer or the top layer of the soil, they get the air and the oxygen content is also there. So these are nutritive in nature, and there you can get the oxygen. So this layer of the soil is very important for small kinds of animals as well as for the plants and for the growth, for the farmers also, because it is useful for the growth of the plant. So taking away this layer, getting away this layer from the top portion of the soil is called soil erosion. So what is conservation? Conservation means keeping away this kind of soil and take some precautions to keep the soil intact with the soil profile. So the first layer of the soil cannot remove from the soil, and they intact with the soil. These methods, whatever the methods we opt to maintain the soil quality, to keep the soil, top soil on the first layer as such, is called the conservation of the soil. Understood? Now I'll read the chapter soil erosion and the conservation. First, soil is found in uppermost layer of the earth. We know the crust layer is made up of different kinds of the rocks, and these rocks are being crushed and then powdered form make the soil. It is one of the most valuable natural resource. As we know, soil is very much valuable resource, as all the important kinds of crops, all the small animals, they all live inside the soil, and farming is the most important activity or the most important job in our in country. So the soil have a great value, because if the soil is fertile, we will get the good amount of crops for the whole year. Understood? Soil supports the growth of the plant by holding their roots firmly. And what else? If the soil is there, the roots goes inside the soil, and they hold the plants for the future, and they holds the plant, they fixes the plant inside the soil. So otherwise, if there is loose soil, there is no soil, then what will happen? The plant will fall off. So plants are very much needed, and for anchoring plants to hold or to keep the plants as such in the soil, this soil is very much important. Now, from the soil through their roots, small animals like insects, rabbits and earthworm lives in the soil. We also depend upon soil for our basic needs like food and clothes. So all the things are, we all are dependent on the plants for each and every need, isn't it? For our each and every need, we are dependent on the plants. And how we are getting these things? Because these, as the soil is present in our earth, that's why we are getting different kinds of plants, and from different kinds of plants we are just obtaining different type of essential things for our life. So soil is very important, we have to conserve that, and the uppermost layer of the soil have the proper oxygen, so the small insects and the small animals can respire even inside the soil. They have a special kind of systems to take the oxygen from inside the soil. So understood, this is a very important part of our environment. So we must have to conserve the soil. We have to take out and find out different ways how to conserve the soil in the earth. Understood? So that's all for the day. Next day we will come to know how the soils are being formed and different kinds of methods, how the soils are being weathered off, how they are getting away from their surface. So, and what are the precautions we have to take to make them intact with the upper surface. Okay. So in the next class I will take all this. Up till that, goodbye, have a nice day.